Any one of you can guess who said that and wrote it? Anyone can guess who wrote that? All of them, the first, slides are just text I'm getting from another book. Give me a dozen of healthy infants, well formed, and my own specified word to bring them up, and I will guarantee to take anyone at random and train him to become any type of specialist I might select. Doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant, thief, and yes, even a beggar man, regardless of his talent, penchant, tendency, vocation, and race of his ancestors. Can you guess who said that? Who? No.
Plato.
No. Yes. Oh, come on, Plato. You don't like Plato.
Okay.
I am not Platonist, but you know. I was supposed to begin with his laugh. I cannot manage a laptop without a mouse.
Neither can I. You want a mouse?
Who can get me out? Please, please.
Do you need a mouse?
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Oh, we have to.
Thank you. Okay, who said that? The author of the above quote was ranked by a Review General Psychology survey about the 17th most psychologist of the 20th century. Here you got the reference, but I'm gonna, after the conference, post that in the web so you can get the whole reference. Yes, we are referring to Columbia University, Professor John Watson.
John Gordis.
Who established the psychological school of behaviorism, and was also editor of the prestigious Psychological Review. He wrote this quote in his well-known books, the most well-known books, Behaviorism. He coined the term. In our opinion, this is an example of the many problems with isms. Ism.
But I had a problem with the quote itself, that it talked about training the person to be one of those type people and not educating the person.
Yes, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but the guy who said that is this kind of guy. It's not me. It's not our students. It's not even our boss. It's not the principal of the president of a university. Is this man? In my opinion, this is the problem of ism, not behaviorism, but any kind of ism. You know, when you are blindsided by your discipline, and inside your discipline, when you're self-discipline, and inside the self-discipline in your theory, ism, mechanism, This guy is an important intellectual. You're gonna tell me that this is not an intellectual monstrosity, what he said. Now, would you guess who wrote the above text? Normal psychic life depends on the good functioning of brain synapses, and mental disorders appear as synaptic derangement. It is necessary to alter this synaptic adjustment and change the path chosen by the impulses in their constant passage as to modify the corresponding idea and force thought in different channels.
Freud.
Who said that?
I did.
Sigmund Freud.
Freud. No.
Who Freud? Who Freud? So, who said that?
John Dewey.
No.
It sounds like a neurologist.
Neurologist, right? Yeah, that's why I said.
Okay, let me give you a hint.
Okay.
A Nobel Prize laureate.
Nobel laureate. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Nobel laureate.
Carl Rogers. No.
No,
He wasn't a Nobel.
Nobel Prize for economics.
no,
Nobel Prize for economics.
no. Poor people. That you can believe that these people said this kind of barbaric things, you know, this is an intellectual monster. This is Moniz from Portugal. He was a Nobel Prize. And his follower here in the United States was Walter Freeman, who popularized psychosurgery, the area created by Moniz, where the terms is a contradictory term. I mean, psychological surgery. How you gonna make surgery to the psychics? So he should have said, you know, whatever, but not psycho. I mean, how you're gonna make surgery in the psycho. So he was a really confused guy. He confused neural net with psychology. The Freeman in the USA, he was banned to make or any further operation here in the state because the disaster he was doing. You know, he was not a surgeon. So since he was not a surgeon, he couldn't make surgery. So Freeman, you know what he did? Is with this thing that you, how do you call it? Ice pick. With ice pick, he entered the canal when you have your tears. When you make, when you have tears in your eyes, he penetrated from that way because he was not a surgeon. And then he entered the brain by that conduct and changed the brain circuit. And it was $200 the operation because it was so easy that he did it in his mobile hospital everywhere in the United States, moving all the place around. $200. We're not talking about average people. We're not talking about brilliant people. We are talking about the most brilliant people the Nobel Prize, Nobel laureate. So these guys are not stupid guys. That's the point. I'm not saying that they are stupid. The adjective I found intellectual monsters. But they are not stupid. If they were stupid, they wouldn't have been able to do such harm. It would have been never. I prefer them to be stupid. Because no one would listen to them. They were not stupid. So it's something else. Who said that? I think you read better than I read. Read it by yourself. It's difficult for me to read it again. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I tremble every time I read it. I'm just remembering what I read. And I'm not feeling well. Look at that. Who you may say that write it there, not just once. Once and again 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 for several years. Another Nobel Prize. All his theory was the basis of the Nazism. All his theory was the base, the scientific base of Hitler, Nazism, you know. How you say that in English? Nazism. Okay, I feel like that, not just as a human being, but we were after the Jewish to be killed, which are the Arabs. We were coming after the Jewish. After us were coming the black people. So it was not reduced to the Jewish people. They were the first ones. And they were the first one for some political reason, economical reason. But according to the whole theory, they were not just we were second, and then the black people in Africa were the third to cremate all of them.
Now it's the brown people, the ones in a caravan coming across the border. It's true.
Can you believe that? Nobel Prize!
Well, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it.
He still had the Nobel Prize! He still had the Nobel Prize! All what happened is that in the 2015, he was stripped by his honorary doctorate in Austria. But he's still a Nobel Prize. Many letters arrived to the Nobel Prize committee. No one took any action up to the present. So, if this is not an intellectual monstrosity, I would like to know what would be for you intellectual monstrosity. This is the metaphor. It's not a metaphor. Yes, it is a metaphor. It's the best metaphor I can find to describe this kind of people. So these are just examples, they are not just them. I bet that in your university you often can find someone like that. Not.
I look at,
In my university I can say it is at least 10. In the university I know. I was doing of research, I know. At least 10. But they are not double prices, so they don't hurt so many people in the world. They hurt their students. They hurt their students. And they're hurting the parent of their student. Because they are not just not educating them, it is worse, they are diseducating them. They are removing the education they received at home. So just, you have to think about your kids with this kind of professor. And then you can imagine how any parent would feel. Especially if you are a professor and parent at the same time. If someone or colleague of yours did things to your kids.
But Nagib, just to bring this down to the idea of disciplinarity and interdisciplinary, are you now are you proposing that these are manifestations of a lack of disciplinarity and
Yes, I'm trying to get the platform, the thought platform. These are monsters.
But maybe just maybe you could explain.
Yes.
Why you're
I
how the process occurs then, because of what you're giving some kind of a cause and effect relationship here. And I'm just trying to understand what that is.
You tell me if this is not. I'm trying to justify the harsh word I'm gonna use. Tell me that if that is not academic incestus, what is it? The author that mentioned that word used a better, ingredient. I use in the article I'm writing also in breathing. But I am using also the word is incest. So which is worse? Inter-disciplinary incest or intra-university incest? Which is worse? Which is more generalized? Because if in your university you have incest, it's in your university. But if you're in disciplinary, have these monsters, they are affecting the whole world. So the problem is interdisciplinary communication alone, as most of the conferences are supporting incestuous communications.
But Nagib, why does the world sit and allow this to happen? Why does the world but no. You don't need to go back to Hitler's time. Just open your eyes today. You might be familiar with Venezuela. How does the world sit back and watch this happen?
I don't go to the world. How my teachers did that. How my colleagues are doing that. I don't have even a speculation to answer that thing. I have no idea. Now, what I suppose, and I am sure, is the lack of interdisciplinarity.
In our last workshop, I asked everybody to write down what are you working on now as far as interdisciplinary collaboration and communication, and do you do that, and how do you do that? So I have 15 examples here. So this is happening, yeah? So interdisciplinary work is actually going on at every level.
Yes.
So it's just kind of.
The problem is, most of the promotional system in academy are for intra-disciplinary articles. They don't give value, academic value to what is needed, which is interdisciplinary communication in the conferences, orally and writing it. They don't give. So the promotional systems are creating these monsters. Again, please, don't do anything now, because you're not going to get your promotion. So don't listen to me. Do whatever you are asked to do in order to get your promotion. But be aware. But don't do what I'm telling you, because you're going to lose your promotion. You're going to lose your track. So you have to accept the rules in order to change the rules. So have that at least, as I said in the morning, as a hobby for you to get interdisciplinary. I'm talking to you because I'm not a young person. As I talk with my kids or with my students, follow the rules, but be aware. At least be aware about what. So as long as you are aware, you can go with the rules, that you avoid being an intellectual monster because you are reading something else.
That's right.
You are reading something else.
But it's our obligation to continue learning, Nagib.
Hey, don't talking about our obligation. My youngest daughter was a reader because at home every one of us read, and I had a huge library in my home. As soon as I got to the university when I was teaching,
Right?
never did read anything. That's hurt parents. That's diseducation. I was in the same university, and I was telling my students at the time, go and tell your parents that you're not getting here higher education. And there is a crazy professor that's telling you that. At least one professor is trying to alert you, parents. You are getting here higher instruction, which is one of the means of higher education. That you cannot reduce, confuse the mean with the end. That's according to the end in logic, is intellectual corruption.
It's possible when you related the price and knowledge is a little numbers and possible the idea apology and there's no in this moment the technology, the internet, you will search any news and any books or any research. But in this moment, it's possible no.
Even now, my kids are living down, and they are getting hurt by the education they are receiving. For example, one of the disagreements we got to there that I learned a lot from that disagreement. I swear to God that I learned a lot. I'm still learning. I still disagree with you, but I'm still learning. E-learning, when you use e-learning to increase the efficiency and you don't care about the effectiveness, And after a debate, we had the only time that we had debate in a plenary session was your debate with that other lady.
All right, I can answer that now, because I mean.
We never had the debate
No,
here.
no, no, wait, I'm not gonna debate it with you, but I'm taking classes now online. One of the universities with which I'm affiliated allows me to do it for free, and I need to grow, and so I'm doing a master's online, okay? I could do this much and get an A, all right?
I read your last paper,
Yeah.
and it's great because you are addressing the educational part.
But
It's
but
really great.
I could go here and I could get the A, but you know what? It's not enough for me, and I push myself here because I want to learn, but I know all the students in the class aren't doing that. I know, but you know what? I don't care because I'm doing this for me and I want to learn. But I don't know how you motivate and inspire students to take it to the next level.
Learning how to inspire yourself first.
But Nagib.
You are doing that. You are doing that. You are self-inspired to get self-educated.
That's right, that's right. But I don't know how, as professors, as teachers.
How you can teach something that you are not doing, but you are doing that.
Yeah, but how do you teach someone to
But-
have that value, to want to succeed, to want to learn?
Hey.
I don't know.
There is one way.
Huh?
There is one way, by example.
Okay.
By example.
I believe
My daughter, never I told her to read. My oldest daughter, never. And her mother, never told her to read. She lived reading because that's what she saw at her home. With the example, alerting without hurting, like I'm trying to do, alerting and avoiding to hurt people. You have to respect the rules, because if not, you're going to be irresponsible with your kids because you're not going to have money to feed them. So be alert about that and do it in your other time, as my youngest kid is doing. Instead of playing basketball, he's trying to read the world history. And he never read back to the university. Now he read almost 350 books. And the last December he asked us for a gift because it cost him some money and he knows that we are not that okay. He wanted the history of the world, and he's reading 15 volumes of the history of the world.
Wow.
And he's in the last semester in JD, Juris Doctor. In the worst moment, because he's now has the bar, and the bar has to study a lot. He's reading that. But this is not what the university gave him. And he's in the best university in Florida, UF. And it was a disaster for him in the undergrad. It was a disaster.
Yeah, but he didn't let it be. He kept pushing
Yes.
forward. It's because
Yes.
of him and he's motivated,
Yes.
not because of the school.
Yes. He's self-motivated. In the worst moment in his life is the last semester. And he's studying at the same time the bar in order to get, to start working as soon as he finished. My daughter lost 1 year because she needed 1 year to pass the bar, so she was working but he's not. He's just studying for the bar also at the same time. And even so, he read 350 books in the last 2 years. And his last gift he asked for is the world history. That was the best gift I should get from the Lord, after the kind of education he got in UF. There are no tell me, I think you are right. Everyone here is, all the university are having problem with the money. You are right that they are using e-learning in order to lower prices, no matter, or not noticing, or not being aware that they are lowering the prices, and the cost of that is lowering the educational effectiveness. So e-learning is a great tool, but we cannot confuse the tool for the function of the tool. Hammer is a hammer. I cannot take the hammer to kill you. I mean, I cannot use the tool to hurt people. E-learning is a great tool, but I'm not going to use it to hurt people. It's a great tool. So, what I suggest, when I heard here the word emotional intelligence, I asked myself, how about intelligent emotion? How about inverting the word? That's the way I feel now. I feel that, I'm not sure if I am doing that. I feel that I'm explaining not just with word but also with emotion. So this is not emotional intelligence. It's using the emotion to express yourself somehow. You know that what in a study that was made in Germany, who are supposed to be the coolest person not to move, supposed. It was related to prototyping, software prototyping. It was a technical session, prototyping in Germany. The study ended up saying that 85%, no, that was another place. In Germany, it was about the 80% of the information that flowed was nonverbal. So you can imagine this person in Italy. In Italy should be 90%. Because the Italian talk with all, you can talk, any nation in the Mediterranean, they talk with their body, So it's a way to express yourself, and the emotion gets more through non-verbal. So it's an expressive tool, and it's used on the culture. So my culture is Arabic and Hispanic, so I got the emotion from both sides. But it's to use it to express yourself, not to use it to kill someone, to express yourself. So why not add to emotional intelligence, intelligent emotions? In a cybernetic way. So my suggestion is, this is happening. This is nothing new. Like it or not, this is happening. This is happening, like it or not. That you can make it more effective if you are aware about it and make it explicit. And make organization to take care of it. That's happening. Why? Because there is no way. By definition, interdisciplinary communication needs disciplines. If you don't have discipline, you don't have anything to relate. So it's by definition, it's a problem of concept. You need disciplines to make interdisciplinary communication. But you need the interdisciplinary communication to avoid the monsters. To avoid yourself being a monster. To avoid yourself being a monster. Because the guy who was born by incest, he didn't cause his menstruation. It was caused by her parents. So how to avoid intellectual incest, academic incest, in that sense of incest? To be at least aware and read, maximize the reading of books that has to do nothing with your discipline. Doing that, you're gonna see for sure, I bet you now, 100 to 1, and I don't have the 100, but I'm gonna bet, okay? 100 to 1, that you're gonna see analogies. Analogy is gonna serve, that is going to emerge in your mind. So the interdisciplinary communication is a mean of creating. It's not the mean of being original, but it's a mean to creating, and there is no way to be original without being creative. So maybe you are creative, but you are not original. But at least you have the impulse, which is creativity, which is the analogies that you can make between disciplines, among disciplines, which is the effort that I have to do as an electrical engineer. Hey, that was 50 years ago, I was an electrical engineer. Before studying philosophy. How can I explain to a mechanical engineer what I know about electrical engineering? I never could do that. So if I cannot explain that to a mechanical engineer, how can I explain it to a client what I can do for him? So it's not what I was told once and again that the managers are stupid. We are not stupid either. But we don't want, for some reason, to make the additional effort of creativity to make ourselves understandable by the manager. So this is, if you get that somehow in yourself, and later in your group, and later in your network, and later in your university, but first in yourself, if you can get on that and start appreciating the importance, the significance, the meaning of this group, you're gonna get yourself first convinced before convincing others. So, because to convince others, not being convinced, that's what politicians are for. Okay? This is not the role of academic. Okay? The academic, they have to be convinced before convincing. So if we get that in the paper I'm writing, sometimes I'm gonna post it. You can get that of what is known as a dialectic whole. From the different senses of the word dialectic whole, there is two senses that apply to that. One sense is a dialectic whole in a group. The dialectic wholes that we tried here. Especially when you have a multidisciplinary problem and you get a group of you, of the user, and your student, and you solve the problem. This is an example, one of the senses of dialectic whole. Because you acted as a whole. You are part of the whole, and you created the whole. So this is one of the senses of dialectic whole I'm using here. The other sense is when this is start getting more universal, not just in your group, but in her group, and her group, and then you network with each other. I am anticipating the next session because I saw you. I started anticipating the next session. because she's really great. I mean, I've been 23 years doing these conferences. I never found a person that can relate education, research, and real life problem solving in a subject like chemistry. She's doing that at least for the last 10 years since I met you. She's still doing that. She's solving real problems with users, etc., etc., etc. Making research with their students. So you already are in a dialectic hole with what you are doing. You can get into the dialectic hole. And then if we have different dialectic hole, we have a network. And the larger is this network, the larger is the dialectic whole, which is the other sense, a universal, a total dialectic whole, which is the yin and yang. The yin and yang between disciplinarity and yin. And so you're doing a micro yin yang. So this would support analogical thinking, which, as we said before, is the necessary input for logical thinking. Okay? But this is not related for themselves just to enjoy yourself and to enjoy yourself doing a good job and being loved by your students, and etc., etc. This is at the same time is immersed in another cybernetic loop with the society. So you are doing that with the society. You can imagine if all your university would be doing what you are doing. Because you are already doing that. You are already doing that. Supporting all the things, at least one of them, I would say more, you are supporting at least real life problem, the one, interdisciplinary research, education, communication. You are doing that, but I'm referring to the other one of relating education. These are just examples.
Interdisciplinary research education.
Yeah. And this, at the same time, is providing feedback to the society. That is providing feedback to the sub-society that you have with your students and your client.
Okay.
So the more people are doing that, the more beneficial it is to the society. So here, what I'm trying to say here is, let's avoid producing more intellectual monsters. Let's stop the intradisciplinary incest. So this is in the academic perspective, this cybernetic relationship. And this cybernetics relationship is not reduced to academic. It's the whole society. And the whole society needs that. And the next hour is how to take it to the whole society. So this is not a metaphor, not a visual metaphor. I'm using that as a concept, not as a visual metaphor.
And yin and yang creates peace as well.
So interdisciplinary, they penetrate each other, but they contain also each other. The same as with episteme and doxa, with knowledge and opinion, which was we said this morning. There is no logic with opinion. This is an illusion. This is an illusion. And whoever need an example, just to ask him or herself, what kind of knowledge is not remotely based in an opinion? And vice versa. There is no opinion without knowledge. This is why donkeys have no opinion. Because they have experience, but no opinion because they have no knowledge. Maduro has no opinion.
I have a question. Very powerful. I'm just curious, what is this logo? Because then you have something in the middle.
Now you know, now you notice what?
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that is that the next.
This has been the logo for 33 years.
Yeah, no, I've noticed it before, but I just didn't say that. But what is the meaning of that in between then? Is there more than disciplinary and interdisciplinary?
What she's doing. It's not a whole, total whole yet. It's a very local whole, dialectic whole. It's what she's doing.
So at some
in the
point what
middle.
she's doing is going to look like
And at the same time, she's respecting the rule of a university because she needs, the money to eat, So this is him, for example. I mean, they need to be here in the terrain of nobody, respecting the rules, because they are faced with the reality that they have to live in.
Publish your parish, what we talked about last year. Publish your parish.
Publish your parish.
Yeah, terrible.
I mean, this is a reality. You cannot avoid it. You can change it, but to change it, you have to adapt to it first in order to change it. Because if not, no one is going to listen to you. I don't like to talk about myself, but I got that experience when I was dean of research. I changed the whole rules in the university. But the necessary thing that I did is to follow all the rules left by my previous team. You change the rule from inside. From outside, you could be perceived, maybe not as the enemy. I was perceived in the 204 as the enemy in this conference. And believe me, I don't care if I'm perceived like that, but I care if this perception is affecting others. Because it's affected people like you that are coming into the conference. So we have to take care of all that. The people who have been with me here, they know that this time, different to the 204, I went slowly, year after year, more and more and more, and with the same idea. So you maybe are tired and bored of listening the same thing. But this is the incremental way I found to go. And it's because the age I have, we need young people. So the next hour is about how to try, at least try, to make a network of networks. To try first a network with just one node with you, and with you. And then maybe with your wife. And maybe with your husband. And maybe some of your students. So it's a network, it's another network, and you are related, so it's a network of networks. Let's start as small as possible. but oriented to increase not the same network, but to increase the number of networks and to relate them. So that was an idea we had, and it was posted in our website in the last 5 or 6 years. But I got inspired to this conference because your NON, I love this acronym NON. So I tried to change the acronym I was using by NON, which is network of network, because I used the word meta-network. But I wrote more around network of networks, because meta-network does not include the S. So it's network and meta-network. So since it's both things, I prefer network of networks, NON. So I'm still in that from you.
We're just stealing it from the National Science It's not mine.
So the next hour is going to be, this is what I thought about both of you, especially about you. How we can increase what you're doing. Because if you're doing that, okay, if I do that in computer and the information system, information means anything. But if you are doing that in chemistry, that doesn't mean anything. This is a precise whole. Anyone can do it, what you're doing. Anyone that, that can make the intellectual effort to produce the creativity that you are producing without noticing it, but you are producing creativity. So anyone can do it. Well, I'm not saying that in the bad sense of the word, that anyone can do it. Not anyone can do what you are doing. But any other discipline can do what you are doing in your discipline. Because chemistry is a very precise discipline. And the best example we had in the previous hour is mathematical education. So all what you have to ask the other professor, hey, why you don't teach the way math people, mathematicians teach in K-12, in high school, or in elementary school? Why you don't teach them like that? Creating the analogy you need to create. Why you don't teach your student that like that? Because if you do that, if you're not going to be just more effective in your discipline, but you're going to remove, how do you call that in English? How do you call that in English? You think that, the horses get?
Blinders.
The blinders. You remove the blinder from the eye of the student. Because as long as you are blinded, you are at risk of producing Nobel Prizes like those that are, and if not, they are eyesight, lateral eyesight, blinded. And any human being with this problem would have a larger probability of dying if you don't have lateral seeing. We see just things move. Because I cannot see him with my lateral vision. But if he stands up, I can see him. That's for the definition is the lateral. So why we cannot have intellectually, and this I'm using that as a metaphor, right? Why we cannot have intellectually a lateral side? We don't have to focus on him. If I'm talking with you, I don't have to focus on him. But I have lateral vision, and then I can see if he moves. So I can focus on my discipline But if I have lateral vision, I can see if something moved in another discipline.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You live that. This is why you say yes with this tone. Because you live that. You can see it. So it's not our responsibility to at least, if not interdisciplinary courses, at least teach this kind of thing to our kids, to our students, asking them, please read. But anything but not your specialty, anything not related to what I'm teaching you, read.
And dig into the literature, go beyond.
Go beyond. So one of the things that I'm thinking about it a lot, it's going to be for July, but I have to be careful, is track on research and reflection. Everyone makes reflection after researching. So why we cannot use in the academic world of the scientific academic world the word reflection? Is that what we do? This is not what we do. So why is got to be just used in second order cybernetic as interpretation of the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum theory? Why? Why do you have to use that only on second order cybernetic? And the people in second order cybernetic, they take dates in order not to be ashamed. They say, hey, the support we have is the Copenhagen, the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum theory, of quantum mechanics. So, why we cannot do the same thing? Why it should be just the people in second order cybernetic doing that? That should be applied to all disciplines, the second order cybernetic. After you get your result, please make a reflection. With T, reflection with T, which is a reflection on the object, and reflection with X, which is your reflecting on your reflection on the object, which is second order cybernetic. One is with T and the other one is X. People think that the difference is British and American English. It's not just that. It's that, but it's not just that. It's something else. If we go to the etymology of the word, reflection is to reflect on what you have just reflected on the object. So reflection with T is when you reflect on the object of your research, on your results. But a reflection with X is to reflect on that reflection you did, how you did it mentally. So we started that this year and it was a failure. But I'm not people to say people, hey, all research has design. There is no research without design, implicit design. And there is no design without research or research. So I'm going to give you an invited paper with no cost for you. If you think about how you thought, and if your paper is on your research, your peer-reviewed and accepted paper is on research, tell me and tell the people of the conference the implicit design that you have in your mind to get your design, because you have to design it at the beginning. Then you have probably to redesign it on the process. So, if you make the additional effort to do that, we will make the additional effort in my. So, I prefer to start with research and design, so I won't get, the trash I got in the 204. And we didn't get the answer that but we're going to continue. We're going to have a special issue on that, and we're going to continue on that. Why cannot we think about our thinking process? Why we cannot have research and meta-research? Why we cannot research the way we are researching? Why? The moment that you apply research to himself in a self-applied loop, cybernetic loop, you get meta-research. So why you don't apply research to research? You love research. Okay, apply research to research.